One idea that really changed the way I see the world is about how environment doesn't decide destiny. People do. If you look at countries like Israel, Japan, South Korea, or Switzerland, they are often called nations built on nothing. They have almost no natural resources, very little farmland, almost no fuel or minerals, and in some cases, even water is scarce. Yet, these countries have become some of the most advanced and wealthy societies on earth. Take Japan as an example. For more than 1,000 years, it had very limited agricultural land, frequent natural disasters, and a population that often lived on the edge of survival. There was a long period in history when Japanese men were much shorter on average simply because of poor nutrition. You should see, in a way, the Japanese people were starved into discipline, but through centuries of hardship, they built a culture of efficiency, hard work, and collective responsibility. Values that later become the foundation for modern Japan's success. On the other hand, you have countries like Cuba or Venezuela. They are blessed with rich soil, abundant minerals, and ideal climates. By all natural standards, they should be among the easiest places to build prosperity. Yet, due to poor governance, corruption, and a lack of innovation, these natural resources never turned into real wealth for the people. That contrast really made me think the biggest difference in this world is not between the rich and the poor, but between those who create value and those who waste it. It also made me realize something even deeper. The gap between groups of people can be far greater than the gap between species. If you compare a human to a chimpanzee, the genetic difference is just about 1 or 2%. But if you compare two human societies, say one that discipline and self-reflection, and another that relies on luck, emotion, and short-term thinking, the results after just a few generations can be worlds apart. That's why I stopped believing in luck as a long-term factor. A country or person may start from a difficult position, but if they consistently invest in learning, innovation, and moral discipline, they can still rise. Meanwhile, even the most blessed society can fall apart if it loses the will to improve itself. To me, this idea changed my perspective on both life and fairness. When I was younger, I used to complain about limitations, lack of opportunities, limited resources, or unfair systems. But after learning about these examples, I started to understand that limitations are not curses, they are filters. They separate those who give up from those who adapt and grow stronger. It also gave me a more global view of success. A nation doesn't need to be rich in land or oil. It needs to be rich in spirit, in knowledge, and in culture. The same goes for individuals. Some people may not be born into wealth, but if they have persistency and self-awareness, they can still achieve extraordinary things. So in short, this idea that the environment doesn't decide destiny, but attitude does, has shaped how I see the world. It reminds me to stay humble, to keep learning, and to believe that process is built by effort, not by luck. And whenever I feel frustrated, I think about those impossible countries that rose from nothing, and it gives me strength to keep going.